Need a polite way to say, I'm not engaging in a discussion on this topic with you because the conclusions you have reached are based on so many interwoven layers of misconceptions, it would be easier to just hard reset your whole brain. Just start over as a baby and try again. Yeah, I feel this a lot, especially in recent years. This is very real. I feel like the Germans probably have a word for this. There's probably a really specific, way too long word that the Germans have that describes exactly this. This video brought to you by my YouTube members and patrons. Thank you guys. How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to another subreddit video. Today we are going to be returning to r/Tumblr, the only way that I actually consume Tumblr content, because I don't use Tumblr. A fun little fact about r/Tumblr and Tumblr in general, something that a viewer and friend of mine told me on a live stream, by the way, check out my streams every Thursday, was that some people on Tumblr will actually post their Tumblr posts to Reddit under a different name and watch as their post gets way more traction on Reddit than it ever did on Tumblr, and I find that kind of funny, to be honest. Very quickly before we begin, I just wanted to mention the YouTube members and patrons. You guys get an extra video every single week for as low as £1 a month. That equates to about 25p per video. So if that is something that interests you, please do consider joining, as it really does help support the channel. However, you do absolutely not need to do that, and I appreciate that people aren't going to, and I appreciate that not everyone could afford it, which is totally valid. Another way you can support the channel, if you don't want to, is if you have the feature, you can go down to the comment section and you can hype this video, and that also really helps, and it's totally free. You get 3 hypes a week. Annoyingly, I do 4 videos a week, so just one hype short a week. Anyway, let's get into the subreddit, shall we? Just heard an old guy at work say, if I don't see that T-word girl behind the counter, I'm not getting coffee. I don't know if that was supportive or not. You like my product? It's just, I mean, you know, whether he's supportive or not, clearly you make the best coffee, and that's what matters the most. Having parents who aren't as bad as they used to be is crazy, because they'll be sitting there doing some normal shit, and you're like Kubrick staring them. Parents love to try and get better once you're past the age of needing a stable parent. Yeah, that's how it be sometimes, huh? I never experienced this myself, as my parents have always been somewhat good. Humble brag. I'm sorry, I didn't, that didn't mean to be a, well, look how good my parents were. But obviously it's something that I have witnessed with other people over the years. And I think a big part of it is becoming an adult and being more independent, right? Because I think a huge part of parents being is that the child is completely reliant on them, right? So it entirely comes down to their capabilities to look after someone who is reliant on them. As soon as you are past the age of needing to be reliant on them, that relationship shifts, and suddenly they can treat you like a normal human being because they don't have to look after you. This isn't an excuse, by the way. This is absolutely a problem, but I feel like there's a huge element of you being reliant on them and you moving out and not spending all of your time living in the same house as them and that kind of stuff, right? I feel like that has a huge impact on that. Nothing slapped my shit back into place like someone pointing out that the genius gifted child with so much potential who got burnout and mental illness is just the nerd equivalent to the jock. Could have been a pro at sports ball if it wasn't for the injury. Oh my god. This is so accurate. This is correct. Oh my god. I never thought about it like that, but that's exactly what this is. Whoa. Wild. So this was posted in 2016. The way Trump is talking about Hillary makes him sound like a scorned lover. What if Monica wasn't Bill's only side bitch? And then posted very recently. You gotta be fucking kidding me. No, how did they predict it in 2016? No. Wow, that's prophetic. That's like Simpsons level prophetic right there. I mean, good job. You called it. You called it. For a daily Garfield strip, I removed a speech bubble and gave John the Control-Alt-Delete face, and realized I had no other plans from there, so this just exists. Yeah, nothing else needs to be added, right? I feel like this is pretty self-contained. This is pretty complete just in and of itself. This is all you need. This is all this comic needs. It's done. That's it. It's complete. and it's wonderful. Like, good job. You did it. Tolkien is having his first egg. It's not going well. Tolkien is a snake. He's my snake. My pet snake. Author Jolkin Rolkin Tolkien is not birthing an egg. How do we know, though? How do we know this to be true? How do we know that Jolkin Rolkin Tolkien is not having an egg? Because he's dead? Yeah, that might do it. That would probably do it, wouldn't it? Yeah, perhaps. You'll never guess the most incredible trans lady I just encountered. Cute shirt. Turn. Some of you aren't understanding. She had a squeaker in her tit. Like, the original comic kind of just conveys that this trans lady saw him looking and was just like, yeah, you like squeeze? But no, she had a squeaker in her boob. That's incredible. That is incredible. That's I don't know what to say. I don't know how to react. I'm sure that's exactly how OP felt in the moment as well. Just had a mental image of someone firing a gun into an envelope, trapping the bullet in it, mailing it to someone they hate. They open the letter and the bullet flies out and hits them between the eyes, killing them instantly. If Bugs Bunny was the Unabomber. I feel like I've seen this episode of Tom and Jerry, you know? I'm amazed if this hasn't been done before. I'm amazed that this hasn't been done before in like a cartoon. Like, yeah, this is absolutely cartoon logic that would absolutely track in a cartoon. And child me would just be like, yeah, that makes sense. Of course that's how that would work, you know? Some names just sound so ridiculously fake that had they been fictional, people would have rolled their eyes in complete disbelief. Like, seriously, what do you mean there's an MF called Galileo Galilei? Shut the fuck up. You just made that up. Fastest man on earth is called Usain Bolt. Sure, I guess. There's a poker player whose real name is Chris Moneymaker. Whatever. Scott Speed is a race car driver. Founder of Tito's Vodka is some guy called Burt Beveridge. There's a former CNN bureau chief called William Headline. You've gotta be fucking kidding me. There are more to this as well. For example, under George Bush's administration, there was a woman who was, I think she was in charge of education, like an education administrator or something, that was called like Lauren Spellings or Laura Spellings, something along those lines. Her surname was Spellings and she was in charge of education. Also, an example, one of my favorite examples of this actually was a recent thing that happened, which was the COO of the British branch of McDonald's recently stepped down and was succeeded, right? Her name, right, was Zoe Hamburger, which I just think that's incredible. I just think that's truly incredible. And I covered this in a video. This was in r/NotTheOnion video, which was when I learned about Zoe Hamburger, right? And I was like, oh, you know, the person who succeeds her, you know, who takes over her role has to be called like, you know, Patty or something. And sure enough, the guy that took over her role is called Patrick. I'm just speechless about that. I'm truly speechless about that. It's been incredibly freeing to realize that I'm entitled to never having to come up with anything original ever again, because I already made Cookie Clicker and I can be satisfied with that. Sorry, this isn't meant to be relatable. The rest of y'all still gotta try. Hey, Orteal, you posted a joke, but someone else already made that post like a month ago. Don't care. Popularized the game genre. Yeah, valid, to be honest. That's valid. Yeah, I can't argue with that. I can't argue, nor can I compete with that. That just is valid. That's true. That's correct. Good job. I, on the other hand, am the most original person because I do subreddit videos, meaning the entirety of my content is other people's posts and jokes. Oh God. Childhood made everything feel like it lingered. The time it took for hot chocolate to cool down was eternal. Christmas Day took weeks. The 2-hour drive to my grandparents' house took us to a new world. It's all too fast now. This post is picking up notes around Christmas, and I think it's because this is never more true than Christmas. When you're a kid, an occasion takes up so much of your life that you just live in it. Now, Christmas really is just one day. Yeah, and like, so much stuff, right? School felt like it took an eternity. It felt like when you were in infant and junior school, it felt like you were in school for like days, like for a significant portion of your life. Whereas, you know, you go to a day of work now and it's just like, it drags drags for 8 hours and it's done, and you go home and you go to sleep and you wake up and 8 hours, and then you go home and you sleep and you wake up and 8 hours, and it's over and over again in this capitalistic hellhole where you barely make enough money to get by, and you wish that anything could be different, but you don't have the energy to make change. And then Christmas rolls around and you get to be happy for a week before you're stuck in the monotony again. Sorry, I blacked out for a second there. What were we talking about? Something about Zoe Hamburger? At this point, every round mammal is a hamster to me. Coconut. I think we both have different definitions of what a mammal is, but I can't say I disagree with you. Has hair, give milk. Whoa, coconuts are mammals? Coconut be mammal? Whoa, whoa. You know what? I can't argue. I mean, if coconuts started sweating, if they had sweat glands, they truly would be a mammal. The semester just started. Ask me anything. What would you do if you came into class and there was a little green guy in your seat just jacking its thang asunder? AMA closed. I need to be alone with this person. How little are we talking, right? Are we talking like leprechaun size? Like a little leprechaun, green leprechaun guy just going at it? Or are we talking like Tinkerbell fairy size? You know, like this tiny little guy sat in the middle of your seat just absolutely going ham. I need to know. I need to know. And why is he green? What is the relevance of him being green? I've got so many questions. Protestants. God is not an absent father. Talk to God like a friend. God is always with you. Bring your problems to God, no matter how small. It's not at all weird to call God Daddy. Catholics. God is far too important to give a fuck about your lost keys or your algebra exam. Please address your petty concerns to one of God's 10,000 holy secretaries. If it is really important, consider asking his mom. Catholics can't get in touch with God because he's always on the phone with Protestants. I mean, yeah, I can't say you're wrong, you know? There's... Having grown up a Mormon, which is, you know, one of the kind of religion where you talk to God about everything, right? In fact, I remember specifically being taught as a child that you should talk to God like a parent. When you pray, and you should do so every day, you shouldn't just tell him about presents. You should tell him about the day you've had. You should talk to him and tell him about the things that you've done that you've enjoyed, which is an interesting take in my eyes, but ultimately I guess it creates a closer relationship with God. I'm not Mormon anymore, by the way. This is just reminiscing about something I was taught as a child. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I knew someone from Ireland who was visiting the UK, and she told me once that her nan, who is Catholic, basically decides that either you are Catholic or you are Protestant, and it doesn't matter what kind of Christianity you are, because there are a lot of types of Christianity. You are either Catholic or anything else which is Protestant to her. It's just, I mean, okay. Finally got a clear shot of Nunu carrying her spring. It's her favorite toy. Oh my god. So Artemis is exactly the same. She is currently asleep in bowl. You can't really, she just looks like a bowl of porridge right now. And also Hades is down here. Honk, honk, me, 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 and honk, me, me, me. But we get springs for them as well because they roll around really easily. They're very light. They can be pinged, you know. Artemis will carry that spring from room to room. If it's in a carpeted room, she'll carry it to a room with like a wood or laminate floor because it slides and rolls easier. But if you're in bed, or if you're like, if I'm sat at my desk or doing something, she'll bring the spring to me so that I can throw it for her, and she'll play fetch. She'll get it, she'll bring it back, get me to throw it, get it, bring it back, get me to throw it. And she started teaching Hades to play fetch as well because he didn't used to do it, but recently he's picked up on the fact that she does it, and he's started bringing me springs to throw as well. But he'll only bring it back 1 or 2 times before he forgets and gets distracted. But they do love their springs and they will carry it around. What's funny is the way she carries it. She like hooks it onto her tooth, so she walks around like this with a spring like there, like, and she can't close her mouth, but she can't just like open her mouth and it falls off her tooth, so she has to kind of bring her paw up and flick it off of her mouth. It's very cute. Always funny to me when Disney movies get different regional names. Giant ass mega media conglomerate, and they couldn't get the rights to trademark Zootopia in half of Europe. Every day I go into town and walk past a Zootropolis 2 poster, and it feels like a bootleg. There's no moral here, it just amuses me. Zootopia specifically is even worse in Germany, because here it is called Zoomania for some reason. Not even a place-related name anymore. Instead, we get what sounds like a psychological disorder. I have always thought that Zootopia was a weird one, and yeah, like, surely Disney, of all companies, can afford to trademark a name like Zootopia, right? Because, agreed, when I walk into town or go out and I walk past a bus stop or anywhere with a poster on it, yeah, it says Zootropolis 2, and I'm like, Zootropolis is a shit name. I'm sorry, Zootopia is so much better, because it's a play on words. It's literally a play on zoo and utopia. Zootropolis is no longer a pun. You've just taken like metropolis and added zoo. It's not a play on words anymore. It's just stupid. Zoomania is even worse. Pretty soon I imagine that Germany's gonna get a version called zoocosis or something, like just actual mental diseases caused by zoos. But it is bizarre. It is bizarre. Like, surely Disney has the power and influence to trademark a name like that. Surely. But that is where I'm going to end the video, everybody. I think that is the perfect place to wrap it up. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. If you would like to support me in making more content like this, then I have a Patreon in the description down below, or equally you can click on that join button on the channel to support me. It helps a lot more than you might realize, but by no means should you feel like you have to. I'm going to keep making content regardless. But a huge, massive special thank you to all of the wonderful YouTube members and patrons that do support me. All of your names are up on screen right now. It genuinely helps so much, and it genuinely means so much. So thank you to everybody that does. Other than that, thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed, and as always, I will see you in the next video. Peace out.